Hello, and welcome back to my 5-year plan playthrough of RP-1, Programs and Launch Complexes. Maximal is back this episode.
Yay.
Hey. Uh, and so where we left off, I did a bunch of building. I built um, the lunar orbiters and then was messing around with this chunker of a launch vehicle. Um, and I am not sure I even want to do 2 launch EOR with Principia, honestly. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's the issue is that there's going to be some delay between the first and the second launch. Um, if I have excess delta V, I can probably do a dog leg and therefore launch them within 30 minutes of each other. I mean, 20, honestly. And 20 minutes is probably enough that I could do that kind of dog leg. The problem is I'm not sure how you set up a land dogleg with PVG, given that PVG currently has that bug about launching target land.
Can't you can't wait for a go around? Just launch
If I
an
wait,
hour and a half later.
if I wait for a go around, which is a full day, then I'll have to predict what land to launch to a day ahead to get a lunar transfer.
Yes.
Or I could just, I mean, the actual answer is I'd launch at an actual lunar launch window, because then it doesn't matter, because the moon will be at the AN or the DN, so it doesn't matter what my land or my inclination is. So that's a reasonable option too. So yes, I could do 2 launch EOR and it wouldn't be too awful.
Yeah, I
But
don't hate the idea of you building it in one, of course. So I was just curious.
yeah, um, yeah. But you did have the real good point of yes, having absolutely insanely chunky fairings on the second stage to encapsulate the transfer stage. So the thing is though, with only 1 layer of MLI, I'm not really worried about it overheating, especially given the low thrust weight ratios of these stages.
Yeah, I
Um,
just thought. Well, I thought you were talking about in previous, and maybe I got this wrong because I kind of skimmed it. Was using the upper stage for capture as well at the moon.
yes, yes, and I'd probably want more than 1 layer of MLI at that point. Um, but yeah, it's just to get basically a 16-ton stack captured at the moon. Like to do TLI, like basically I need a. I wonder if the actual answer is to just do a. I think the actual answer is probably to use an Apollo style service module instead of the idea of a. Oh no, I can't get it. No, never mind. No, I've completely gone crackers because I forgot the fact that the block D was used as a crasher stage. Totally forgot about that part.
Okay.
So yeah, all this stuff is wrong.
Okay. Well, it seems like we should figure out what your actual payload is and then work backward.
Yeah, and so I need to start unlocking the relevant nodes.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I'm looking at the tree. Also, 1967 ORSC will have some nice stuff for you, so that seems like it should
will
be
it
on your
though?
hit list.
I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it has upgrades to the RD-253s or whatever.
has the upgrades to RD-253s. It has the RD-58 if you choose to use that instead of the
Yes,
RD-119.
yes, that's actually really good. the RD-58. And then
And you'd have to get lunar class material science, which has some other upgrades you'd like. Slimmer fairings, and of course an integral tank upgrade.
ooh, I missed that this also has UDMH locks configs.
Yeah. Yeah, that 253 Mark II, if you go to get that, that's a pretty nice engine. That one, yeah. But yeah, the locks configs gives you a pretty decent boost.
I guess I'm sort of missing the advantage. It's just a little bit more thrust.
No, look at the subconfig Mark RD1 for fifth one down, for instance.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's almost the same as the one I already have access to.
Oh, fair. Yeah, it's just a little bit more thrust, I guess. I didn't spot the
Yeah.
114.
Yeah. Meanwhile, let's... Two minutes and 28 seconds. Yes, the extra specific impulse is darn impressive.
Yeah.
Which also leads to higher thrust, which
Yep.
will lower gravity losses, so we're better in every way.
Yep. Also probably worth overburning this for the 5 seconds.
Yeah, probably. Especially given that I'm already at 130. I'm actually going to do a little more than 5 seconds, because 235 is a nice round number. Okay, and I'm actually going to bring this up to 50. Okay. $846. Now, yeah, we're gonna need yeah, I'll need to build a block D, I think. Yeah, the question is whether I want to do EOR or hollow style LOR. But I would need a god-awful number of these engines to do Apollo style LOR. Or the same number of NK-15s, except they're less reliable, or the same whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite as many because of the higher specific impulse. Because, like, the The extra specific impulse really will make a difference. But
I mean, you're close to that with that Lux version.
yeah, I mean, let's see, RD 254. So yeah, we're talking about 358 versus NK15V, which I haven't researched yet, so it's not showing up.
Yeah.
But they should be.
And K15V is 346.
Is 346?
Yep.
Okay, so there's not actually that much difference in specific impulse, which means to do a single launch lunar mission, we're looking at around the 3,000 tons of the N1.
Yeah. I don't think the NK15V is a good idea for that at all.
No, I mean like the RD-254 is a better idea, but I'm just saying like the RD-254 in UDMH LOX isn't enough better to seriously decrease the mass of the launch vehicle.
Yes. Correct.
So yeah, maybe we are just looking at doing UR, because I really don't want to deal with a 3,000 ton launch complex.
Well, you're gonna have to figure out rendezvous to finish crude, so you might as well use that as a test bed.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I launch in an actual lunar launch window rather than these daily windows, then I'm not so worried about how much inclination and LAN and whatever will precess due to Principia.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's got to be a way in to get PVG to do a dogleg to fix a LAN. Okay. Leaving a question for Lamont about that. Because if we can dogleg to a specific LAN, then we can get away with only launching like 20 minutes later, or however long it takes to get into orbit. Do some kind of phasing orbit, and then catch up real quick, and then we can launch whenever we want in those daily launch windows.
Yep.
Okay, so that's all good. Now we have one more of these landers, and then we're going to do the landing, and we also want this, which is do this mapping. Although we're not actually going to complete this contract until we finish with our far side landings, because we're going to have to lower the altitude of those relays down to below 500 kilometers. Also, incidentally, frozen orbit inclination. Okay. So we need 86-degree orbits. To get to not have serious issues.
Around the moon.
What confuses me, however, is I would have expected oh, no, I'm thinking wrong. Yeah, land doesn't matter because land would only matter if you were in some kind of synchronous orbit. All right, so about 86 degrees. So we'll keep that in mind. So let's do our last near side lunar landing. Figure out where to stick that thing.
Sounds fun. I get the low stress job.
Okay, have our Venus probes done all the things? It looks like they have, unless they were in low Venus orbit, which they're, whatever. You're done. Okay, it looks like that's all done. That's still running. It has 12 days left, so we'll get a little more science out of that. 18 science. And the first one is complete. Oh man, I forgot to put a good magnetometer on this. It still has the crappy magnetometer, but that's fine. Let's look at the moon and see how it looks. Start this. Yes, I'm aware the new one is out. I'm waiting till the one after that because there's a bug fix that I'd like. Here's it. Yeah, there's MEO. Oh, I don't even care about that, actually, now that I think about it. Because we know which side is which on the moon. And yes.
All I care about is sunshine, right?
Yeah. So we're good. So let's launch into our launch window. We are 10 hours away. Or we could just launch now, given that we have a bunch of Delta V. Do we have a bunch of Delta V? Yes, because we can use some of that stage, because it's relightable. So yeah, who cares?
Okay.
Oh man, I forgot to install the new MechJeb that Lamont linked me before I launched this. Oh well. Minus 53.56. Okay, what's our prediction? Maximum iteration succeeded. Okay.
It wants to burn some of stage 1 or 2.
No, it's gotten very confused. So, nothing for it. Hey, Mexigen. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy this stuff. It's definitely a great pleasure to make a lot of this stuff, so it's always nice when people enjoy it. All right, let's wait our 10 hours. Okay. .6 is perfectly acceptable. All right, and 40 and 57, I think that's about correct. Let's go.
Maxigen, he's decided to play a Soviet-style playthrough this time. Usually he does American, so... And he's historical rocket larper.
It's worth pointing out that actual R7 derived launch vehicles have the outward bulge about here when the LOX tank starts, and these boosters are slightly more vertical, which is why this actually goes outward slightly to hug the side of it. But I decided to use a perfectly cylindrical core tank. But yeah,
historical LARPer would be pointing these things out as it's like, oh, I'm not really matching the R7. I haven't gotten it exactly the same. I'm kidding.
I mean, yeah, in fairness, when what you have is the RD-107 and RD-108, you don't have a lot of options.
You could have gone for Orlov's trifoil.
Yeah, I guess so. Although, I'm worried about the level of TVC on that. Because, like, this is a marginal level of TVC as it is. And it works because it's aerodynamically stable. The alternative would be a real chunker with something like 6 RD-107s on the first stage and an actual serial staged RD-108 above it.
Yep, that would be a thing.
Yeah, that'd probably be what, like 450, 500 tons?
Thereabouts, yes. 450, I would guess. I'm guessing each of those RD-107s is about 75 tons. With the rest of it being, no, much less than that. They have to be like, what, 50?
Yeah, they're about, they're like 50-ton boosters. Or, no, 40, I think you're right, I think it's like 45.
Yeah.
Around 45.
So you're looking at only 400, 390. No, the reason I was suggesting the trifoil is because you haven't actually really used the R7's full capabilities too much. Like this one sort of does, but you're also have like an extra 1,000 delta V stuck in there.
Yeah, I mean the lunar relay stuff I think is a little closer, but what's actually going to use its full capabilities is launching Soyuz. Because that's going to be about 10 tons to orbit. Maybe 8 tons. That's a lot.
See, what you could have done if you wanted to be fancy was to do non-human rated with only 3 RD-107s and human rated with 4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah, although then the starting efficiency of the human-rated launch complex would have been a lot lower. Because it would have had much less commonality. But yeah, I historically have, with the exception of one campaign that I streamed a long time ago, but I don't think I archived to YouTube, I almost exclusively fly American engines, because they're the ones that I know very well. Whereas Soviet engines I know somewhat, but not anywhere near as well.
I like the discovery process.
Yeah.
There was a mod that created reasonable but randomized stats for historical engines. I'd play that probably.
Yeah, I mean, one of
not one of them that is just pick your engine and set it up exactly like that. Those are interesting too, but I mean one that actually just said like, oh, I'm gonna scattershot these around and you have to figure out what to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, back at the dawn of... So, RPL, which RP-1 was the lightweight version of, RPL was itself the lightweight realistic progression, but whatever, um, was built around the reaching for the stars universe that I created and had a bunch of engine stats. But I got sucked into enough making actually real stuff that I never really put a bunch of time into reaching for the stars. But yeah, that's all broadly bespoke, and we have a lot more high quality engine models now, so it wouldn't be hard to like use a bunch of them to.
I'm not suggesting you do any of this. This was a like.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like it would not be hard for a human,
Yeah.
whoever would like to volunteer. Um, because I'd sure like to play a campaign where there's like you could play 3 viable nationalities worth of engines, and they're all like reasonably balanced against each other, but have like their own flavors.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to play RP-1, but as a role-playing game with like a not a dungeon master, obviously, but a game master who just like you have to play against in some fashion that is throwing events your way.
Yeah,
and,
I mean that's
with,
yet more Barris stuff. But yeah, I mean that was one of the cool things in Headlines was you got those random events. And there's once again that weird kick. But someday we'll get figured out. Alright, so now we need to... Oh, first I need to plug my mouse in because it ran out of juice. Flight plan. Switch this to MEO. Four days. Add. Alright, so we need a little more delta V apparently. Usually we're much closer with these things. I wonder why we're kind of off with this one. Three days, 6 hours. Yeah, this is weird. We launched to the inclination we were supposed to.
Essentially, it depends what you're doing. The biggest workload would be if you had to model it. And then it's programming the config. I mean, it's just entering a bunch of data, making sure it's correct. There's some research involved if you're looking at historic stuff in particular. Figuring out what its reliability settings should be.
Yeah, Gunter's space page is real helpful for that. This is
Ask,
super weird why it takes so much delta V for this one.
ask ChatGPT to make me a rocket engine, and it came up with something. Not terrible, but wrong. Told me what the propellant mass should be. I was just like, nope.
Alright, so I guess we can just try to land, like, up here rather than in one of the major craters.
I mean, sure, you haven't hit Midlands or Highlands, or
Yeah, or we could land here, because I don't think there's anything in there yet.
well,
We have
you
3
see where all
landers,
your
1,
probes are.
2, and 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could just go there, and that would be fine. I think I like that approach better.
I mean, if you have the option to hit a crater, hit a crater.
Yeah. Wrong way.
It looks like you're gonna go for Sea of Tranquility.
Yep. Might as well. Yeah, this is going to be real hot, this landing.
I mean, you've been typically landing with 600 meters per second left, so
Fair point. Fair point. Okay, the rebase didn't make it materially worse. I feel like we want to actually add a little bit more here so we don't have such gravity losses. Like, we'll have more excess hyperbolic velocity, but our gravity losses will be lower if we do the suicide burn lower.
yeah, I mean, it still ends up being moot for you, but yes.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. All right, let's do the burn. Oh God. Thank you. For some reason, I thought that I was an ECI when I made this. Thank you, Nesfib. And hi. Once again, you are saving me in Principia things.
Yeah, good to have somebody who knows that to hear instead of me.
Yeah. Yeah, every single time I've started an ECI and then switched. And I thought I clicked ECI, but I must have somehow clicked over to MEO first. That was weird. Okay. Nope. It's still expensive. Even in ECI. Extremely weird. Maybe we add some binormal. See what happens. Nope, not really making a difference. So yeah, it could well be that this is right, because the moon is not in a quite circular orbit.
Go ahead.
There, that will broadly work. That looks pretty good. Let's add a little more prograde such that we come down more towards the center of that crater. That's looks about right. Let's try again. Super confusing. Oh, you know what it also could be? The moon, the orbit of the moon's inclination. The inclination of the orbit of the moon also varies over time, and it may be that it's getting a little worse for intercept from our 28-degree orbits. So NASFIB, yes, I would expect that for a 3-day transfer, but I asked for a 3.7-day transfer. But yeah, the 20 meters per second variation makes sense. So yeah, that's probably what's going on. Bunch of reasons, but a bunch of different things could be going on. This is just Lunar Transfer Planner. It's now recommended as part of the Express install. Butcher wrote it basically as a standalone mod that mirrored his KOS scripts, if memory serves. Here comes some purple noodles. Okay, how close did we get? We got pretty darn close, actually.
Nice.
I mean, we could actually just land in that crater instead. And I think that that's what we'll do, given that correcting our inclination is going to be a pain. Because basically, in this case, inclination with respect to the moon is time with respect to Earth. And that is a sign that spool up is not working correctly in MechJeb. That we're starting our burns a little bit late, I think. Switch to MCMF. Oh, in MCMF, our trajectory is just wrong. All right, that's not good. So we will have to mess with our inclination. All right, I guess we have to do it a different way. Is add a correction maneuver. In, call it 4 minutes. Add some binormal. And at this point, yeah, 30 meters per second and a little bit more prograde. Actually, we want a little bit more. Okay. So yeah, apparently we need to perform a correction.
I had to walk ChatGPT through some steps, but it ended up somewhere. Posted what the final result was.
That's wrong. Or I guess not. Well, I would be very surprised at those numbers. That's a
That's
very low specific impulse for locks.
yeah, it's a crappy engine,
But
no doubt.
right, but my point is, I'm not sure you can make it that crappy.
Can't you? I didn't think there was a lower bound for how bad you can make an engine.
I mean, yeah, you could not have a nozzle.
Yeah.
All right, let's execute this. Interesting, that time it spooled correctly. And it overburned. Or underburned or something? I guess it underburned again.
There you go, about a tiny bit.
All right, that'll do. How are we doing on peroxide? We still got plenty of peroxide. So now that's in 3 days, 6 hours. So 3 days, 6 hours. And we want MCMF. 3 days, 6 hours, 48 minutes. Scrub it forward a little more. It would be so awesome if you could say make a node at a given height. That would be extremely useful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's align with the node. That took us a little closer. So let's move back a little bit. All right, let's land. Oh God. Oh, we're not as vertical as I thought we'd be. I mean, we're sufficiently vertical that I cut the burn a little fine, but I think we might still be okay.
Yeah, you're still fine. You should still be fine. I don't
Yeah.
know why suicide burn impact is. Oh, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, we've just hit the... Yeah, now we're fine. Probably.
Oh, you're definitely fine. I mean, that was close to an ideal start.
Mare tranquillitatis.
And I think you should have waited 10 more seconds.
I don't think so. Oh, right, I forgot I had the extra thrust of these thrusters. Yeah, that'll make a difference. Yeah, see, we're at negative 15 seconds, but... because of the extra thrust from the thrusters, we'll be okay.
Also, because it's always wrong.
I mean, yes. But it's not as wrong as you think because I have to burn under to kill horizontal velocity first so we can have a sane final descent.
I mean, you don't actually have to. You could kill the horizontal velocity after you killed all your vertical. But yeah.
Technically, yes, I could, I guess.
I mean, if the other option was crashing.
Yes, I could somehow make that work. Squirrel, I missed the small retractable one, I guess. Yeah, you're right. I could have waited, or I could have just not thrusted that extra amount.
Yeah, that's fine. That small one is there, but the dishes are a little weird in terms of like what their visible model looks like versus their actual masses.
Yeah, I mean, this thing weighs almost nothing.
Yeah, it looks very chunky.
Okay. Let's kill the remaining bits of... surface velocity. Okay.
Nice. Then I can just settle on thrusters. Very nice.
There we go. That was pretty clean. I'm
That was
happy
your
with
best
that.
one of all. Very nice. Yeah.
Okay, let's sample some surface. Or do surface analysis, because we can't actually take a surface sample and get it back. Thanks, folks. You should have seen the first landing attempts. They were horrific. But this is not unreasonable. Okay, there's that contract complete. The last of these near side landings.
Lessons were learned, Senshi.
Yes. Lessons were definitely learned. Oh, oops, I forgot to actually start the next thing integrating. So we just wasted 5 days. Well, it's fine.
It's not a waste. You still got paid for them.
Fair. All right, I need to unlock something for this, probably the science instrument. And it's got its both sets of dishes. Yeah, okay, we're still nowhere near full capacity for this launch. Needing the full capacity of this launch vehicle, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, for the Mars probes, we'll use it up, I bet. One day I'll remember to install debug stuff and see what colliders are intersecting. Okay.
Kind of
Okay.
looked like your.
Sorry?
I was gonna say it kind of looked like your solar panels might clip your dishes, although it might.
I checked.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they don't. I mean, let's check again, but yeah. See? They're clear.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, they're higher than I thought they were. Never mind.
Oh, good. Oh, MaxiGen, sorry. I missed your message for rocket mass. That's, I think, about 300 tons, maybe 310. But let's pop back in the VAB and see.
You
Might
want
not
your
even be
stage?
300.
Do you want the stage masses or just the rocket mass?
Oh, rocket stage. Yeah, rocket stage mass. Sure, I'll,
You just do long stats on MechJeb.
yeah. Already there. There you go. 313, fairly close. Okay. Wait, why didn't it?
Oh, did it not get queued?
That's weird. Did I just release a broken RP-1? Oh, I can't afford it. That's why I didn't get queued. Ha. Yeah, so we didn't actually waste the 5 days because we need the money.
There's something untooled that seems abnormally high. I know you've got, 2 satellites up
Yeah,
there. And
it's
probably
because
the
it's
deep
2
space depending
satellites.
on it.
Yeah, there's nothing untooled. It's just because I'm launching 2 satellites with their dishes and a bunch of science experiments.
Fair enough.
Okay. Back to work. All right, now we can queue this thing. Okay, now it's added to the queue. I have 910 engineers and 1950 researchers because I can't afford anybody else right now.
Maxogen, you can also check his spyware. It's loaded up there.
Yeah, I export every time, so you can just check on the RP-1 career log site, and it should give you
Yeah,
all
I
the
just
stuff.
linked it.
Cool, thanks. All right, cool. So we'll get better solar panels even before we launch this. Although it'll be just before it finishes. I got to figure out whether I want to fly 2 sets of these or just 1 set. And I think the answer is 1 set is probably fine.
Imagine 1 set is fine. You need to work on Mars and crude stuff soon.
I have 92 days before I need to. So, yeah, this is 40 days. So I have 60 days for building a Farside lander or 2.
Fair enough. What's that Rocketdyne timer for?
So I can reappoint the Rocketdyne contractor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I see what you mean. We could do it. Yeah, there's actually no reason why we can't just use the same landers and do an unguided farside landing. Like,
Yes.
sure. There's no reason not to. Like, just be real careful of the way the orbit's constructed, and we should be okay.
Yeah. The only potential concern is if you're launching your orbiter separately, you have to make sure. Or well, I mean,
I mean, that's why. So my plan is I'm launching two, and they're both going into polar orbits, one to the north and one to the south.
Mhm.
And they're also going to have slightly different aposelines, so they'll get out of sync.
Yes.
And that should ensure that at least one of them is able to provide comms, as long as we're close to equatorial. Ideally, both will be up, so we can land wherever we want. But if only one of them is going to be up, then we can tailor where we're going to land.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, that's kind of why. That's one reason why I was considering launching 4 of them. But the other frozen orbits aren't as useful.
Well, if they're relatively high SMA, and you've tailored them to like, I mean, you're not going to fail to see much of the moon like that. So yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, actually, so before I finish doing that, I actually let me antenna plan this thing. Which I didn't actually do. I just assumed that 2 S-band dishes would be enough. But
Reasonable assumption.
let's actually run antenna planning on it and see. Antenna planning, vessel, Luna 9. Pier is vessel. And we want that. Okay, so ha. Let's try 10 megameters, 20. All right, so up to 20,000 kilometers, we're still getting 2.6 kbps, so that's probably fine.
Yep.
Because that's enough for. That's like. Yeah, 300 bytes a second is enough for basically any reasonable experiment. And for any connection, we can be super far away from the moon and be okay.
Yeah, but why would you even be that high?
Huh. These dishes are symmetric. Oh, no, one is 10 dBm and one is 19 dBm. That's why transmit receive are different. All right. So yeah, we're fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, and now we can research some more stuff. So this is
1961, I think.
yeah, 334. This is
Oh, the one you
362, and the RD-58 is
349.
you know that one by heart.
Because I'm co-piloting, I have the research window open the whole time.
Oh, that's convenient. Thank you. Um,
But
all
I
right,
also
so it
I
is significantly higher, but it has only 2 ignitions.
also its burn time sucks.
Yes, so RD-58 is what we would want to use. Okay, so the specific impulse of this thing is horrific. Why would we want to do that?
Lots of ignitions. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like it's lower specific impulse than pressure fed engines, which like you don't need high pressure tanks, but still.
Yeah, no, I don't know why I would use it. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have starable propellants, but
Yeah.
maybe if it was throttleable, it would be worth considering.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Okay. Kind of want to swap over to the RDO 110, but the downside is we have to burn through all these nodes that there's nothing useful in. So for now, let's go ahead and get this, which is worth pointing out. We do get some great tank upgrades and a fairing upgrade and an efficiency upgrade.
Yep, those are very nice.
So let's get this. And lunar landing, which will give us the LK is somewhere around here. Oh, it's not until here.
Kind of odd.
Yeah, I wonder if, I mean, it's correct by time. I wonder if the correct option here is we just make our own lander.
Correct option is always to make your own lander if you want to be efficient, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. All right, this has 4 of those engines. Oh, it has That's a bunch of... Okay. No, it has a bunch of those engines. Or it has some other engine. Um,
Which for the
yeah, so the 7K LOK Soyuz has a different set of maneuvering thrusters than the Earth orbit Soyuz.
is it using the KTDU 417?
Claims it's over here.
Yes. Highlighted.
So it is.
Like I said, I stuck that feature in mostly
Yeah.
because I had so much trouble searching for engines here.
Fair. So this is the landing engine for the sample return Lunas and Lunicod.
Okay.
It looks like it's... I mean, the thrust is rather lower than what's on the 7K LOK, but it
I just saw the ISP looked very similar.
yes, the specific impulse is super similar. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm going to call it there rather than trying to launch another mission. So, yeah, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. It was fun again.
So here. And thank you everyone for watching. I will catch you next time. Night.
Yeah, later.